consider what you did wrong. And I will sit there, and I am a thinker, and I will think, what did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? Is there anything I could have done better? And it's frustrating from my end because I can only give you what I receive from God. And it's frustrating when I feel like I didn't do enough. And there was a reading a couple weeks ago now where I really felt like I didn't do enough. And it broke my heart because I could feel like it really wasn't getting through to the client. And I don't know if I've really dealt with that reading because it just made me feel so helpless to know that even in my position where I have the universe at my fingertips in a lot of respects and being able to find the answer, I could not help this person in the way that I felt like I needed to. And it's like I've said sometimes God says no. And in that case, I did what I needed to do, but I felt like it wasn't enough. So here I am being hard on myself. And as women, we are so darn hard on ourselves. Like we are hard on ourselves for everything. We are hard on ourselves with how good a mom we are, how good we are at our job, how good a spouse we are. Like it's like been programmed into us to criticize ourselves. And instead of lifting ourselves up, we put ourselves down. And if you don't, that's amazing. And I hope you keep doing it because it's a quality we all need to aspire to. Louise Hay once said, whatever you think you are or aren't, it's the truth. Because if I feel like I failed, then I'm going to live as if I failed. But if I choose to live in this state, in this few days of quietness with work, if I choose to say, I'm going to take this time for myself and believe that the right people will come to me for readings, then it'll happen. I know it from pronoia. But to be honest with you, in the last few days, I have just felt sorry for myself. I haven't wanted to podcast. I haven't wanted to blog. And I just feel like I'm banging my head up against the wall. And instead of trusting the universe, to be honest, I've been frustrated. Because I feel like I'm not helping the people. I'm not helping as many people as I want to help. And I want to reach more people. And it's frustrating when I know that people feel insecure or they don't want people to know that they have seen a psychic, so they don't want to leave a recommendation, or they don't want to tell their friends because that would mean that they talk to a psychic. So again, it's all the insecurity. And again, I respect and I understand that. And I understand that people are going to be at the level they're at. But from my perspective, when I give 100% into each reading I have, and when I talk to you, I am 100% into your life. It's really hard when I guess I don't feel like I get that reciprocation. Not like I don't need 100%, but just refer your friends to me. So my son is calling me right now, and this is another part of frustration, is that I am always mom. You know, I can be doing a reading and my son can say, Mom, 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 Mom. Noah, can you give me just 1 second, please? So that's another thing, is our jobs as moms are never really done, are they? We can be on a business phone call. We have all of these needs stacked in our head. And he doesn't ever stop, does it? So this is where I'm at, ladies and gentlemen. I am not in the best space. And I probably shouldn't even be doing this podcast because I am depressed. I don't know. I'm depressed. But I think we need to hashtag end the stigma of mental illness. And not that I have a mental illness, but end the stigma of depression. And end the stigma that this is something that we don't talk about. You know, it's easy to talk about things and to do a podcast when things are amazing and things are good. It's hard to do a podcast and to admit my vulnerability and to admit that I'm sad and I feel kind of helpless right now. Like I'm not doing enough to help other people. And then I turn around and I just don't feel, maybe I don't feel like I'm good enough right now. And I'm not asking for you to, to shower me with compliments. I'm not asking for that. But I am admitting that I'm human and I'm vulnerable. And it's frustrating when, if people do want a reading, they don't want to pay for a reading. And a part of me wishes that I could just give readings for free all of the time. And I wish that when you message me, that I could just help you right then. But if I did that, there would be it wouldn't be caring for myself, and it wouldn't be taking care of my God center, which that's where I'm getting information from. I need to have peace and tranquility in my heart so I'm able to read you effectively. And, if it's an emergency, I will be there anytime, anywhere. But I have to say I value myself and I value my time. And that goes for a cost thing as well. I know that what I charge it's not zero. It's not as much as other psychics, I will say that. But it is enough that it makes you, I feel like, appreciate the reading and appreciate the session. And it's about the time and the energy I'm taking. Because after a reading, it's not over for me. I'm holding on to you. I'm holding on to your thoughts. I am emailing you. I am writing you a thank you note. I am thinking about you. And if anything else comes to mind, I am messaging you and letting you know. And that's happened on several of occasions where the next day, or I have a dream about you, which has happened a few times. And I message you the next day and say, hey, I dreamt about some new information. Here you go. And I don't ever ask for any extra payment for that. That's me giving that to you because I'm still thinking about you and what I can do to help you. And if there's any way I can help you, I will. So if you're debating about a reading, know that I will give everything of myself for you and what you need. And I promise you, if there's any way I can personally help you, I will. But in return, I would love it if you would refer your friends to me. I would love it if you do write a recommendation for me. I would love it if you shared what you learned. Because what I'm running into is that, I'm right on things, and then people, again, it's this fear, it's this being afraid to admit that they saw a psychic in the first place. But I'm not just a psychic medium. I'm Nancy. And I want to help people. In order to help people, we have to get the word out. And I'm also a very normal mom and wife. And I also suffer from depression and I suffer from anxiety, and I fight it. I fight it just like I know so many of you do. And I'm going to keep fighting it. And that's why I'm on medication right now. And maybe one day I'm not going to need medication. But today and tomorrow I am. And that's okay. If we talk about these things, if we talk to our friends, even when things aren't good, and we talk about our heartache and our loss and our pain and these things that we are holding on to from so long ago, because when I share something deep with you, we become closer because of it. Studies have shown, and I might have mentioned this already in a previous podcast, studies have shown that people bond more over experiences than things. So for instance, last year, I went on a transatlantic cruise with my family. I wanted my children to see, I always really wanted to sail across the Atlantic, and we made it happen. We saved and saved and saved, and we made it happen. And on that trip, we met another family that really felt the same way about traveling, where they put every spare penny into a jar for vacations and for traveling. And we ended up sharing a really wonderful week with them, with a family that values that. And because of that bond of going to the Azores, where my family is from, and the experiences have bonded me and us and this other family for life. Likewise, when you share with me something tragic that happened in your childhood, or when I share with you, just even that process and sharing that moment in time will bond you. So don't think of being a bother to your friends when you share the bad stuff and share your fears. Think of it as bonding. Think of it as glue and cement your friends to you. I don't know what I was just saying, but cementing those relationships that you want to hold on to. Now, I'm not saying, go run outside and yell down the street that you're depressed or that you take antidepressants. I'm not saying that, but I am saying allow yourself to be open and say, I'm depressed. Oh, and I saw a psychic medium. Because those friends that cherish you and value you, they're not going to think any less of you for being on a medication or seeing a psychic or whatever it is that you are holding on to that you're harboring as a secret or as, as a scarlet letter. We all need to be more open and transparent about our struggles so that it's not so quiet and depression and anxiety and even being suicidal or whatever it is isn't such a thing that we hide in the closet. There are wonderful organizations out there that we can support to help. And I'm going to give a shout out really quickly to an organization, if you're down in Texas, called Humans Helping Humans, I believe. And I'll link it on my page. First, for the record, it's my cousin-in-law that started it, Danny, but he's a survivor of depression himself. And he is running this nonprofit to help other young people with the stigma, ending the stigma of mental illness and also alcoholism. So check that out. There are also other wonderful community organizations in your area. I just happen to mention Danny's because he's actually the one that really inspired me to have this podcast in the first place today. I know he doesn't know it, but it's because he has been really open about his struggles with depression. And so it's time, and I know I've talked about this before, but it's time to really be open with mine. I am a psychic medium, but I'm also sad. And that's okay, because maybe I won't be sad tomorrow, just like you. If you've been thinking about getting help for depression or anxiety, today is the day to call. Start with your primary care doctor, start with a nurse, start with a crisis line if that's where you're at. But whatever you do, there is no shame in getting help. There is never any shame. It takes a strong person to admit that they need help. Do not delay in ever getting help, because you are needed, you are wanted, you are loved, and you are safe just the way you are. But we need you around to spread light in this world. So please, if you have debated about getting help, please go get help. And if you're already on an antidepressant, anti-anxiety, any kind of medication, shout it out. Own it. Be proud that you accepted help. I'm on Effexor. Woohoo! I'm on it. Hey, I don't care. I am so much better on it than off of it right now. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to own it. Let's all start owning our insecurities and our depression. Let's start owning the fact that for me, I feel really freaking insecure right now. And I feel like I'm not worth it. And I hope not worth it in terms of, or I feel like I'm not doing enough to help. And that's how I'm feeling today. But I believe in pronoia, folks. And I know that the universe is working in my favor. And I know and I trust that the reason why I'm doing this podcast is to help one of you. I know this hasn't been the most pleasant podcast, but you know what? I really appreciate you hanging on with me. I appreciate you hearing me out. I promise I'll be funnier and happier the next time, or not. Maybe we'll talk about something even darker next time. Who knows? No promises there. But just know I will always be open and honest with you. My name is Nancy. I am the very, very normal intuitive. You can reach me at one-question.net. You can reach me on Facebook at One Question at a Time and on Instagram at One Question at a Time, the number 1. Thanks so much for hanging in there with me. I hope everyone has a great day, and let's own our issues and let's end the stigma of depression. Thanks so much.